to go back now to the conversation we were having just before we took you to KwaNongoma in KwaZulu-Natal, and that has to do with the National Consumer Rights Day that's taking place tomorrow. I'm still joined by Phetho Ntaba. Phetho, thank you so much for staying with us on the line. Now, you were just explaining the various activities that are going to be taking place throughout the week, but you're about to tell us what specifically will be taking place tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we have partnered with the University of Phetho. We have the Free State Province, the DSTV. We also have Deputy Minister in the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, Gina Numalungelo Gina. She'll be delivering keynote address. And obviously, the Acting Commissioner at the NCC will be outlining what happened over the past few days. Because remember, our theme is actually aligned with what is happening currently in the country, starting in March last year when we were hit by COVID-19. We saw suppliers increasing their prices. We also saw a number of pyramid schemes that mushroomed throughout the country on social media platforms and what so not. And if you remember very well, Keorapetse, it was very difficult for consumers to leave their houses and go buy in different stores, whereby they ended up opting for online shopping. We read numerous complaints whereby consumers bought something or they transacted and they never received their goods. So this year we are really re-emphasizing their rights as consumers. We are also reassuring South Africans that as consumer protection bodies, we will never rest up until we know that South Africans are protected, their consumer rights are protected. We will forever fight for their rights.
And what can consumers actually do in such situations where you have made an online purchase, the website seemed legitimate, but the products or services you bought actually never materialize?
It happens. Unfortunately, in that situation, if it was a ghost supplier, it's not easy to get through to that supplier because basically they do not exist. It's somebody who was smart enough to sit in front of the computer and start creating a website or a fake website. That's why we say to consumers, really before you transact, before you part ways with your money, do your research. And it shouldn't really end on desktop whereby you say you will Google that company. It's fair. Also check reviews because most of the times we check reviews after the fact. And had you checked reviews before you purchase, you are going to save yourself, you are going to save your money. So it's always important to check reviews, ask around whether this business is actually legit. Can I do business with this supplier?
And how would consumers actually be able to identify a pyramid scheme? You mentioned that a lot of pyramid schemes were mushrooming during the height of the level 5 lockdown.
There are telling signs. One telling sign is when they really promise to double your money in a shortest period of time, whereby when you look at the interest, it's way above the repo rate, it's way above 20%. When they say, go recruit more people. Because remember, for a pyramid scheme to be sustainable, you need to bring more people into the system. And for you to be able to get to the hierarchy or to go further up, you need more people who will come to fit the pocket. So those are the pyramid signs of pyramid schemes, rather. And as we mentioned with the CPA, Section 43 actually says pyramid schemes are not legal or genuine investments. So by participating in a pyramid scheme, you are breaking the law.
And just lastly, do you think that consumer rights and regulations are evolving fast enough to keep up with the fourth industrial revolution and digital migration?
Fortunately, when the Consumer Protection Act was crafted, some of the act looked at some of the things that we might experience. However, I must admit that some criminals or scammers are way too advanced. However, there are sections that actually cover or that protect consumers. For example, when you look at Section 43, that basically says pyramid schemes are not genuine investments. And if consumers were to stick to that line or stick to that section, they will be able to protect themselves. Because when you, like I said, when you participate in a pyramid scheme, number one, you are going to lose your money. other consumers actually borrow money against their properties or vehicles or even businesses, or borrow money from friends and families. Basically, by participating, and when it disappears, that scheme, it basically means you have lost money, you have ruined relationships and whatnot. So while at times we try to catch up with scammers, while we try to catch up with new inventions, but the Consumer Protection Act is there to ensure that by all means we protect consumers. At the very same time, we remove proceeds of crime from being used. If you remember very well, there was a pyramid scheme that we literally brought down last year, which was Up Money, masquerading as a stokvel. So what we did, working with other consumer protection bodies as well as the NPAs, we froze their accounts. That money is going to be used by government to fight to fight crime, basically, in South Africa. So that's the beauty about consumer protection, particularly Section 43, whereby we say we remove proceeds of crime from the market. We ensure that if you are participating, unfortunately, we cannot protect you. You are as good as a participant. You are as good as you broke the law.
Well, Phetho, thank you very much for joining us and for your patience with us this afternoon. Phetho Ntaba, the spokesperson for the National Consumer Commission, just speaking to us about some of the laws that are out there to protect you, the consumer. So do make sure that you do your homework and find out what you are entitled to and protect your money.